All right, let's try it again and see what happens. YouTube wasn't showing me no love there for a second, so let's see if they send out notifications for this one. Oh, there it is. I got a notification almost immediately. Let's see if you all get notifications. Wait for a couple of people to pop in here, and then we'll start yakking about these two pieces of shit. Yeah, they are pieces of shit. The world loves them. Not me, though. Freedom Inc. doesn't love them. We are adamantly against them, as a matter of fact, because they are what we call enemies over here. Let's see which one's what. All right, what's up, guys? There y'all are. Are you there now? So, I'm not going to go through this whole video because it's 52 minutes long itself. It would take me 3 hours to go through it, but go watch this video. I watched it. I buckled down. I actually listened to most of it, then I watched some of it. The question was, can we repeal the NFA? Now, no, we can't. I want to tell you why. Because of FUD, people like FUD number 1 right here and FUD number 2 right here. I think these two dudes are actually in the closet. I think they're married now. Not that it has anything to do with this conversation, but it is what it is. Just thought I'd mention that. I don't know why. Anyway, let's listen to what all Mr. Eric and Chad has to say right here. I think it's like right here. Where's that? Bam.
Registration is not wholly unconstitutional.
Yeah, registration is pretty fucking unconstitutional, bud. All of it. 1000%.
Because it is regulating firearms, not restricting their ownership.
So where do we allow our government to regulate firearms? In this video, they make the argument that they say the federal government has the authority to regulate firearms because of the Commerce Clause. And it just doesn't. If you're wondering why you can't see me, I have my camera turned off. It's just privacy time. I figured I'd just do a video about a video without my big fat face in it. But anyway, they use the Commerce Clause as the reason why the federal government can regulate firearms. And the Commerce Clause was never intended for that purpose. It was intended for the federal government to be a mediator between states. So, as an example, if Kentucky wanted to send something to Michigan and Ohio said, no, you're not sending that through Michigan, then the federal government would step in and say, hey, Ohio, Kentucky wants to do commerce with send commerce to Michigan. We're going to allow it to go through your state, and if you want to charge a tax for that or whatever, that's fine, but this is how it's going to happen. That's all the federal government, that's all the jurisdiction they have. They don't have any jurisdiction in the middle in our society, but they do, and that's because people like Eric and FUD, other FUD right here, believes it.
Okay, under the Second Amendment, which sucks. And although I love Antonin Scalia, I think he was a...
Oh man, I love Antonin Scalia. I skipped a part of this video. I should have went back further because it got better. But he loves Antonin Scalia, the one who said, oh, we're about to get into that. Hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself.
A great champion for the Second Amendment. He did leave some gaps.
He was a great champion for the Second Amendment. Why does Mr. FUD here say that? Because he believes the Heller case was a great decision because it codified the individual's right to keep and bear arms. No, it didn't. It gave government the precedence and reigning power to dictate who can and cannot own firearms, which we're about to get into that in just a second, too. Because these two assholes right here agree with that.
In Heller, that allow for some...
The Heller decision was terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. It did far more damage to the right to keep and bear arms than it did to help.
Some of these new laws and regulations and things to come down the pipeline and be defended on the level of the courts.
And you see, I believe it's South Carolina that is now using the Heller decision to try to impose laws, and they're using Scalia's opinion specifically.
I'd like to, we'll go completely to modern times now, and we'll talk about Amy Barrett a little bit.
Okay.
So, Amy, a lot of people think that Amy's comments, she says that she basically dissents back to Scalia's view on the Second Amendment and his...
Yeah, that's because she didn't take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. Do you remember that, guys? That's their excuse all the time. Well, I took an oath. Oh, but she falls back on Scalia's decisions, not her own, because she can't make up her mind, because Scalia was her mentor or some bullshit. Scalia's a piece of shit. He is in hell right now. Satan and his little minions had a special place for him ready when he got down there. He's burning in fucking hell right now for what he has done to this country.
Previous...
More specifically, the people of this country.
Supreme Court ruling and everything like that. But if you read into it, I had an article pulled up. I don't have time to go through it all because it's a heck of a lot of information, but...
Yeah, we don't want to, pass on information, because that'd make too much sense. We want to just keep repeating the old talking points, the bumper sticker slogans and shit like that, because that's the easiest shit to remember. And that's all this is. This video is literally 52 minutes and 7 seconds, I think, of repeating the same bullshit that's been said for the last 3 decades. Nothing in it has changed. They did mention a lot of shit, like Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. They, what's the words I'm looking for? They wrongly, that's not the word I'm looking for, but we're going to go with it, cited the Commerce Clause. Well, they cited the Commerce Clause, but then they explained it wrong. They act like the Constitution does give the federal government to do this, and it just doesn't. The federal government should have no say whatsoever in anything that happens in the states or between the states, with the exception of commerce, and that's only as a mediator. Now, you can take that as far as you want to go. I mean, you can go as far as to say a state can say, no, we're not allowing this to come through our state, and to the point of fighting the federal government, with arms to stop that from happening. That's up to the state. But that's about as far as the federal government as a whole can go to state business or the people's business. Now, when it comes to the Supreme Court can strike down laws that are made by the states that are unconstitutional, which fucking every law there is unconstitutional today. I mean, like literally 99.9999% of laws are unconstitutional.
What Amy is getting at is that...
My bad. We're supposed to be a country of few laws when it comes to the people. It's just supposed to be laws that coincide with natural law, like murder. We all know murder's bad, right? I mean, like, everybody knows that. You cannot deny that. It's not subjective. Killing somebody is bad. For no reason, anyway. Murdering somebody is bad. Killing somebody is okay. But, and then it's only for the purpose of the defendant. So it's not an or else situation. Like, murder is illegal. That's not or else. That's so the defendant is guaranteed due process, so they're not screwed. But all that shit's out the window now. It's complete fuddery.
Yes, there are reasonable restrictions that can be applied to the Second Amendment, but under the guise that the Founding Fathers' original intention was that, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you commit some heinous, terrible crime, you can't...
Let's hold up. There's reasonable restrictions, right, Eric? That's the very same thought process that is being used right now that he is arguing against. So really, he's arguing for it. Well, it's reasonable, right? So what that means is whatever the majority wants, or whatever. It doesn't have to be the majority, those in power. Anything that they say is reasonable, right? I mean, surely it's reasonable we take all firearms and we just leave our security in the hands of the government. Surely it's reasonable if we get rid of all firearms, then criminals won't have them. That's definitely reasonable. It's reasonable. Like, no, there's no reasonable shit to it. Period. Everybody has rights. Those rights are equal. You don't have the right to say I don't have the right to do something based on your feeling or your, what is it, the word? What you think is reasonable or not. It blows my mind, though, that these dudes sitting here having an hour-long conversation, one of them can't say, like the light bulb don't go off in their head, like, wait a second here. This is the same argument that we're hearing to get rid of all firearms.
Can't take your gun to jail with you.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, you can't. That's a restriction on property.
There has to be some standard by which, I mean, yeah, if you commit some terrible, heinous, cardinal sin crime against humanity, well, then, yeah, you don't have rights anymore. Like,
did you just hear what he said? Did y'all catch it? I'm not going to play it back, but you heard him. He said, yeah, if you commit some crime, you don't have rights anymore. That's why when they arrest you for that crime, you don't have the right to bail. You don't have the right to a due process. You don't have the right to a jury trial. You don't have the right to an attorney. That's because you lose all your rights, guys. Like, I don't understand how they think like that. Yeah, you lose your rights, This has been applied through indoctrination to the people to believe that you can lose this specific right. You can lose the right to keep and bear arms, and you just can't. I don't disagree with you, Junior Thompson, at all. But people need to start pointing these bastards out for what they are. I've emailed these two. I've taken the time, and I'm not shitting you, over the past 3 years to email each one of these guys. You can go to IraqVeteran8888.com or some shit like that. Just put in contact IraqVeteran8888. And there's 3 email addresses. You can send one to him, and one to their business, right? And I've sent at least 50. at least, I'm not shitting you, and I've not got one answer back from either one of them, trying to express to them that somebody somewhere, some Moms of Man Action host sitting here watching this, and she is learning how to fight against the people's rights. There's no reasonable restrictions on firearms, period. But what he also proves here is Mr. Constitutionalist Eric, as he said that he is many times. He is a constitutionalist. He is a patriot. And Mr. Chad over here, Mr. Patriot, Mr. Plastic Patriot Constitutionalist. Right, Andy Johnson. I mean, just that very thought right there. Your rights come from God. No one can take them unless you let them. Well, you can't. Nobody can even take your rights. You can't even give your rights away, Andy. What they do is they instill fear in you so that you will not exercise your rights. So, like, rights can't even be given away. They can't be taken. They can't even be restricted. They instill fear in you so that you will not exercise them. Yeah, Eric and Chad here, right here, these Mr. Pro-Constitutionalist, Second A Plastic Patriots, whatever the hell you want to call them. It's Mr. I don't think Chad was involved as much at this time, but definitely big boy here. Got caught selling his opinion for $4,000 a whack. So if you sent him a gun, he would give it a good review as long as you paid him $4,000. And the Yankee Marshal's the one that brought that to light, I'm pretty sure. But like, it don't, like, I really feel dumber now from watching this video. I really do. How they get. This is exactly how they will get with little cuts at a time they're handing out. Right, I don't disagree, born to be a shooter. And they do that by these people. So these people right here, like it or not, are quote unquote leaders in whatever this thing is, right? Whatever these 248 comments are. And notice I got 2 comments there, and I accidentally give myself a thumb up there. There's no likes to it. So I'm probably either blocked or people just are not answering. I don't know if somebody, let's see if somebody give me a comment up here. No, see, I left 2 comments in that, and nobody has replied to them. So I'm blocked from the channel probably, I'm sure. Because that's what they always do. They always block you when they can't answer, when you point out what they really are, man. And they are. These dudes right here, Fathead right here, and Meat Stick right here, are as much your enemy, if you are pro-freedom, as Dianne Feinstein, as, what do you think of Yankees since you mentioned him? I have a different opinion about him, man. Like, he says some good shit, but I don't put any faith in him. How about that? I agree with him on some things. I disagree with him on a lot of things. But depends on what you mean, what I think of him. If there was a battlefield, he would be facing me. Know what I mean? Depending on how you want to go, how far you want to go. I could sit down and drink and probably eat dinner with him, have a conversation with him. I wouldn't tell him any secrets. Yankees a socialist. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe to a certain degree he is. I mean, a lot of people are, though, Jeff, if you think about it. I mean, look how many people support welfare and shit. You know, look how many people support Social Security. I mean, that's all socialist programs. You know, my thing is that if you're going to be pro-freedom, you have to stand on a hard line. No matter what, whether it helps you or hurts you. There's a lot of times it hurts you. There's a lot of times that being pro-freedom does not help me. You know, I give the example like when I went in there to the guy that when they sentenced the guy that killed my son. Like, do you think I wanted to go up there and say like this is bullshit that you're giving this dude all this time and you didn't convict him? Yeah, like it didn't make me feel good inside to do that, other than the fact that I knew it was the right thing to do because he was getting screwed.
Yeah, so to say a reasonable restriction, well, is it reasonable that a mass murderer, criminal, raper, homicide, whatever person should have access to whatever gun they want? Well,
let's use his own logic, though. What's reasonable and what's not. What's reasonable is subjective, right? So what's reasonable to you might not be reasonable to me. There's 350 million people in the country. Less than 1,500 annually wake up and are hit by a bullet. So, yes, 40,000 people do die of gunshot wounds annually. Once you break the numbers all the way down, somebody like, that just wakes up and is walking down the road and a bullet just hits them out of nowhere, meaning they had absolutely nothing to do with their death. So they wasn't involved in gangs. They wasn't in the middle of a drug deal. They wasn't trying to shoot their old lady's boyfriend. You know, they just had nothing to do with their death at all. Less than 1,500 people annually die from that. So since statistically, chances are you won't die from being shot by a gun, it's reasonable to say we don't need guns, right? I mean, that's definitely reasonable. Like, I can't stand these idiots, man. It gets under my fucking skin. I just want to punch them in the mouth. That's what they need. They need a good ass whipping. You know what I mean? I'm to the point where I believe that not having your ass beat on a regular basis for saying stupid shit is why everybody thinks their opinion matters and that they must be heard all the time.
I think it's reasonable to say that, yeah, you don't want that person armed.
And yeah, I say my opinion all the time, but I will also get my ass whooped. Trust me, it's happened more times than not. I lose way more than I win, but I'll still fight. Doesn't matter.
In your society, if they've committed these terrible, heinous, felonies or whatever, right? So violent crimes, again.
See, now he's trying to talk his way out of it because he don't want to sound like the fud that he is. So that's why he keeps fud-splaining here. Violent crimes. It doesn't matter if you commit a violent crime, man. If you shoot somebody in the fucking head who didn't deserve to die and you murder them, you still have the right to keep and bear arms as you're pulling the trigger, as the bullet's exiting the barrel, as the bullet enters their skull, as it exits the other side of their skull. You still have the right to keep and bear arms. You didn't have the right to kill them. It's separate issues. Why these two dudes right here are not teaching people this shit, that we need to stop conflating these issues because we've been indoctrinated to do so, and put them out there and find the core to the problem. The problem is this guy killed somebody. The problem is not the tool. If you believe that a gun is a tool, which these dudes have said that 6,000 times, it wouldn't matter if it was a hammer or whatever. Do we need to take their right to keep and bear hammers away? They can't be carpenters no more? Hell, let's take their steak knives away too while we're at it. No, bullshit.
And that has an actual victim, someone who is dead or in a very traumatic, terrible state as a result, right? So that's the thing.
Like a mom who's had her son killed by a gun, so it's reasonable to take all guns from everybody because it's reasonable. Dude, I just cannot stand that word, reasonable. Like, I don't see how it doesn't take much thought. Like, when this fathead goes to bed, what do you think he thinks about? What do you think he's thinking about when he goes to bed? Do you think he's thinking about how much money he made today? Or do you think he's laying there thinking about how he can't stand the country he lives in because the people around him make him less free? I think Chad here thinks about Eric when he goes to bed, though. I would bet on it.
Everybody reads into Amy Barrett's comments, I believe, in the wrong way. She refers to Scalia because Scalia was like one of her mentors, right? But, she's...
And if you're a pro-rights at all, that should tell you a lot about Amy Coney Barrett or whatever the hell her name is. If Scalia was her mentor, that should tell you a lot about her because she's going to have the same beliefs that he does. And he believes that he is a god. And here, you know what? We're going to break this down even further because I was thinking about this last night before I went to bed. Christians. If you claim to be a Christian, yet you follow unconstitutional laws, are you really a Christian? Because you then have false idols called government. You believe that government is your God. You no longer believe in your God, right? So then can you claim to be Christian? I thought about this after watching... What was it? What's the name of the channel? I don't know. I don't remember. Hillbilly Homestead or some shit. I forget the name of the channel. Now I'm going to have to go find it, damn it. I'm going to go to my history and find it real quick. Because this dude is a joke. And I asked him questions because he only wanted to... Well, I'll get right back to that. I got to find this thing that was last night. Where's that? There's old Red Bone. Right here. Keeping it Dutch. This dude right here. So he makes this whole video about Jesus and his faith in Christ and all this shit. Which, hey man, more power to you. You believe in the Bible.
And that's fine, but
more power to you. You believe in what's good for you, 100%. But how do you say that you're a Christian and you believe in God when you put law above God's law, and then you are unwilling to die and fight and die for your kids? All this shit is great. All this homestead shit, awesome. That is great, man. But if you're unwilling to fight for it and die for it, it's useless. You're building up a homestead for somebody to come take from you. That's what he's doing. In 10 years, somebody's going to walk onto his property and take his shit because he is under the belief that if it's God's will. You know, like he believes, and he said this in the video. He believes that there's a certain time and place. God already knows how you're going to die. That's all planned out for you. But then he also goes into questioning, well, if that's the truth, then why should I eat correctly? Why should I exercise? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? So it's cognitive dissonance in your own belief system. You know, I don't put any faith in the Bible. I don't want to get on this conversation too much because it's a tough conversation to have and people never understand my position. I don't put my faith in the Bible because it was written by man. It has been edited by man. I don't know, but anyway, back to fudds. Where are they at? Where'd the fudds go? I'm almost done with this. Oh shit, I don't know, but anyway, back to fudds. I'm on my damn. I was watching me. Here we are. We're back to the fudds.
You know, she's not saying that she supports restrictions on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, this is exactly what she's saying. Amy Coney Barrett, if you listen to her shit. That's exactly what she's saying. Because what did Scalia say about restrictions on the right to keep and bear arms? Yeah, exactly.
She's saying that reasonable restrictions exist and that those reasonable restrictions are a very finite and small list of very specific things that probably any person on planet Earth would think, okay, yeah, you don't want this person having...
Not me. Not me. I think serial killers should own firearms if they want one. No restrictions at all. There's no such thing as a reasonable restriction. Now, yeah, Dare Lion, these are the same people that are always saying, shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Do you like it when I whisper in your ear? My issue is the man in there. My issue is man, and then I believe there's a creator of all things. I just don't believe one group is chosen, or I need someone else to get my... Right, 100%, man. And well, like, and here's another thing, too. So in 50 whatever minutes, that all they did was repeat all the same shit you always hear. They didn't happen to mention, because they don't believe in God, and I would go as far almost to say that anybody who, like, I truly believe in God. I don't put faith in the Bible, but I believe in God, and I believe in a higher power, and I believe that there was a man named Jesus who walked the earth and did miraculous things. I'm sure all that exists. I'm positive. So saying that, if my Creator gave me my rights, and my Creator is my religion, my right to keep and bear arms is a part of my religion, right? It's no different than having a Bible, having a gun is. Yet I've never heard that anybody use this argument. Ever. Never. It's never even been used as an argument against the Supreme Court. Right? Why? And let's see what this says. See, people believe that the Constitution is just written, and you just have to take it for what it says, whatever. Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So, if part of my religion is believing in my Creator, which gave me my rights, that means my rights are a part of my religion. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. There it is. There it is, right there. That kills every gun law that there is, right there. But when people read the Constitution, you have to read it. You know, there are things in the Constitution that and Thomas Jefferson talked about this. If there are two clauses, articles or whatever, anything, if there's two clauses that directly oppose each other, the one that gives the people the most liberty is the one that's to be defaulted to. But all that shit's been thrown out the window. We now have kings called the Supreme Court that rule over us. And then idiots like this that just believe that bullshit. You know, how much research do you think these two right here have ever done into the founding of this country, the men who founded it, or the Constitution? I would bet my left nut, and I will cut it out with a frickin' spoon if I'm wrong, that these two right here have never read the Anti-Federalist or the Federalist Papers. Two of the most important documents there is to read if you have ever read the Constitution, if you want to understand it. Guarantee these two have never read it, but they both have claimed to be constitutionalists. They both have claimed to be patriots. But yet they sit here as enemies against the very thing they claim to be fighting for.
a gun, not that Second Amendment restrictions of
My Second Amendment rights.
any type. Anyone could just say, well, I think it's reasonable to run them all through a wood chipper. That's not what she's saying. Reasonable.
Well, I mean, to somebody that is reasonable, right? Isn't just ask them. Fought to free us from tyranny, government, and tyranny people. It's just that simple. Right, Liberty Williams, 100%, man. But I mean, his thing is he doesn't understand what's reasonable. He is looking at reasonable as what's reasonable to him, not as a subjective word. Because to a lot of people, running guns through wood chippers is reasonable. Tom's crazy, ladies. No, I haven't seen Tom lately either, man. I asked him to call me. He tried. My ringer was off, so I missed his call. That was a few weeks ago. I haven't heard from Dry Fire Faith either, man. I've been burning his phone up trying to get him to call me back. Yeah, their whole thought process needs to run through a wood chipper, man. And here's what's really funny about it. So, here's how close I am to these two, to getting through to them, right? So I have Coulda Boy 32's phone number right here on my phone. I can call him. He won't answer if I call because obvious reasons. He thinks I hate him. I don't really hate him. I just, if the fight starts today, he'd be on the enemy's team. He goes to shoots that these two put on. So with 2.5 million subs, if Coulda Boy was to just listen and try to understand and then relay that information to these two goons right here, that's country changing. That's enough information in an hour, 2 hours of conversation. An hour from me to Coulda Boy, an hour from Coulda Boy to these two, 3 hours. An hour for these two to the 2.5 million subscribers plus that watch their shit because they just all their subscribers. This video was up, I don't know, 50 minutes or something. And then it's had 8,000 views. And, like, literally, that's changing the country. That's enough information to get out there. I don't disagree to a certain extent, born to be a shooter. The problem you run into that with, like, today is what if China was to invade and we didn't have a federal government? I'm not anti-government. I'm anti-tyrannical government. I'm pro-freedom. Yeah, you're right, Colossal. None of them will because it affects their money. You're 100% right. 100%. I don't disagree with you. But they do stupid shit. So, like, Coulda Boy got demonetized, and I texted him, like, dude, you have to reapply for monetization. The reason being is because even though he's demonetized, that microscope is still on his channel now. So, it's not, you know what I mean? He's not going to be able to get away with anything unmonetized that he would monetized because he already monetized. And then I try to use that to have a conversation with him. But, of course, as soon as I change the topic to other things, he don't answer me back.
Of course, now, we know some people are not capable of being reasonable. Mm-hmm. We also know that some people are not capable of rational thought.
Like Supreme Court justices?
Actually diving in and finding the details and really getting to the bottom of stuff and doing their own research and, getting the facts themselves and weighing out every single side of the argument and the situation in a way that's fair and honest and forthcoming and logically consistent.
Logically consistent. I can't believe you just said that. I haven't listened to this part. I turned it off before here earlier. I can't believe you just said that. Logically consistent. My right to keep and bear arms, my Second Amendment rights. Reasonable restriction. Does that seem really logically consistent? Shall not be infringed. Reasonable restrictions. I don't think that's very logically consistent there, fuckhead. Sorry to cuss. Yeah, I get frustrated. I'm actually doing really well at cussing, except when I do videos because I get mad.
Right. You have to remember, we assign these people to the Supreme Court because they're the most brilliant minds we have. Right. We are relying on them to be our hearts and minds and to be our brilliant.
I disagree completely. They're definitely not the most brilliant minds there is. They're and whether or not what are you basing that brilliance on? If it's about freedom, they're definitely not. They've proven that time and time again. The Supreme Court is nothing more than a tyrannical arm of government. That is it. When government becomes tyrannical, it's all of government. It's not just one piece or part of it. It's all of it. These are the same people that thought a selection was stolen, yet did nothing. Them and 76 million other people, patriots, so they say. But no, those positions are filled based on political bias. It has nothing to do with brilliance. It has nothing to do with freedom. It has nothing to do with their stances, unless it is politically backed. That's the only way. That's how the Supreme Court is filled, and they're lifetime tenures. Go back and read George Washington's farewell address. He talks about the dangers in political parties. As for those who believe it's what they've been told in the movies, I use the term voluntarist. The problem with voluntarist, Roberta, is that it always becomes the problem of the bigger animal, right? So, okay, let's just say we eliminate government. We have a volunteer society today, right? When China decides to invade because they have amassed a 1,000,000-man army, they have amassed the equipment. How do we defend our country from that? That becomes the problem when you're talking about. There's some other problems too, but that'd be the main one. Is that if the federal government was eliminated completely, then you have the states that, the reason we went through the Constitution from the Articles of Confederation is because of what happened during the Revolutionary War, running out of money, and not being able to fight the war. If it wasn't for the French, we probably wouldn't have won the Revolution. If Britain and France hadn't went to war together against each other, then France had backed the revolution. We honestly probably would have won. Right, the militia, I get that, but the problem with the militia is that you have to have, it has to be structured, right? So, if China invades California, is the Ohio militia required to go help California fight? No, they're not required to, because that's the Ohio militia. But at the same time, if China takes California, next is going to be Nevada and Arizona, Oregon, Washington. So there is a purpose for it. It's just not how it is. If we enforce the Constitution how it was meant to be enforced, we would all be as free as we know we should be. And that's the fact. It would be a volunteer society with the government. We have to enforce the Constitution, though. I mean, a volunteer society just means you're fighting every day. Because there's going to be somebody trying to take your shit or hurt you every single day. So that's what we need to do. Like I said, I agree with Larkin Rose. I agree with Brian from High Impact Vlogs. I agree with their premises. I don't agree with their solutions, because their solutions end in a dictatorship. Because here's what's going to happen. We remove the government. You're going to call me King Freedom now. You know why? Because I won't be ruled. And I'm smart enough to know that at that point, he becomes the man with the most money, with the most hired force who rules things.
Brilliance, right? Like, we're relying on these people to fairly and concisely judge situations with the overall holistic view of Americans in mind.
How many takes do you think it took him to get them? I bet he did this whole video 4 takes so he could get that one little big word thing going. Big words. Good job, Eric.
Not just one side or the other, right? The Supreme Court is not a political entity. They don't take political sides. They should.
Did you hear what that dumbass said? The Supreme Court don't take political sides. Yeah, Roe versus Wade. Oh shit, that is funny shit right there. Holy cow! I can't believe he just said that. He's getting dumber by the minute. Like I said, I haven't watched this part of it. I can't believe he just said that. The Supreme Court don't take political sides. Yeah, okay. Mrs. What was the old bitch's name that just died? That was on the Supreme Court for like 100 years. Hey Nick, what's up? Yeah, you create a vacuum, right, Jeff? 100%. And that vacuum wouldn't stop in this country. It would go outside this country. So what that would mean is eventually it would be a dictatorship, or would be under some kind of communist regime or something. Government is a necessary evil. The problem is we don't enforce our Constitution on that evil. If we did, we would all be as free as we know we should be. Colossal, I don't disagree with you, man. So how do we show people that, though? How does my channel with 2,500 subs, really I have about 50 subs. I have about 50 subs that truly, are involved, that want to be free, that do things like go and to rallies or help support people. Or how many people's here now? 38 people right now watching this. And here's what's sad about it. And this ain't my opinion. This is fact. If you do the research, you can find it yourself. That you 38 people know more than these 2.5 million people over here. Unless you're subscribed over here, then take that number off. But here's an interesting take on population control. If everyone was free from tyrannical government, the unproductive would die off. Problem solved. Yeah, 100% TLR. I don't disagree with you, man. Abolish the welfare state. Remove the policing forces. We need to have a government in place. It doesn't need to have its policing forces to police the population. The government and our society are two separate things. One needs not get involved with the other. Well, I mean, the population can get involved. Society can get involved with government. The government can't get involved with the people. And that's the problem, man.
Shouldn't. But you saw back in 1939, even though, all right, he knew the New Deal was going on. He knew that firearms regulations were a big part of the New Deal. He knew that gangsters were a problem, and they wanted to set a precedent. So one could even argue that under the vein or guise of why the Supreme Court even exists and the nature and you know, the way that they're supposed to conduct themselves, that even that 39 case was not conducted in the fullest bipartisanship.
Didn't he just say that the Supreme Court isn't ran politically? I don't think he really understands what he's talking about here, because he just went against what he just said. He doesn't think it was ran completely in bipartisanship, but it's not political. Why does bipartisanship have anything to do with it if it's not political? It's been political. It's been politicized. And that's how we feel Supreme Court justices now. It's completely ridiculous. Tibet sunk the Titanic along with the opposition to the Federal Reserve. You know, there is some evidence out there to prove that truth hurts. There's evidence out there to prove that the captain actually hit the iceberg intentionally. Yeah, I know, Colossal Big Shot, but here you'll see, like, here's my 2 comments. There's still no likes on them. And, I mean, and I don't think anybody's replied to me either, which means that I'm probably blocked. Yeah, I'm blocked. Because if I wasn't blocked,
You know,
if I wasn't blocked, somebody would have answered me now with what I said. You know what I mean? Like, it's guaranteed I'm always going to get an answer, but I'm blocked. How unfortunate. Pieces of shit.
she's not saying.
Anyway, go watch the video if you want to watch it. Take a good look at these 2 right here. These 2 right here are no different than Dianne Feinstein. If you don't know who she is, Feinstein, whatever her name is, go do some research. They are 100% the same, because their thought process supports what she does. I still think they're married on the side or something, because I know this dude had a wife.
That she supports.
And neither one of them, if you notice, have wedding rings on now.
Restrictions on the Second Amendment. She's saying that reasonable restrictions exist, and that those reasonable restrictions are a very finite and small list of very specific things that,
which is subjective again, and I'm sure Eric would be fine if those restrictions affected him. Hey, Eric, you shouldn't own firearms because it's reasonable. Me and my 38 subs watching right now decided so. There's more of us than you. Therefore, you must obey. That's bullshit, man. It's complete bullshit.
probably any person on planet Earth would think, okay, yeah, you don't want this person having a gun. No,
Yeah, he keeps saying that, and I'm still sitting over here saying, yeah, I want everybody to own a firearm that wants one. Or 10.
not that Second Amendment restrictions of any type. Anyone could just say, well, I think it's reasonable to run them all through a wood chipper. That's not what she's saying.
Yeah, we already watched this.
Reasonable. You saw back in 1939, even though, all right, he knew the New Deal was going on, he knew that firearms regulations in the fullest bipartisanship that it probably should have.
So the Supreme Court, although it is made up, obviously, of Democrats and Republicans typically, right? You do have sides in the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court, as its core, is supposed to test the constitutional muster of laws and cases.
Which means that any law that restricts the people or doesn't coincide with the Constitution should be voided out by the Supreme Court, and they just don't do that. That's why this country is so clusterfuck. There's so it's supposed to be from state to state. The laws are supposed to be the same. Did you know that? And the reason for that is because laws are supposed to be minimal, maximum individual liberty, minimum government. But it's gotten out of hand. The Supreme Court hasn't done its job. It's been politicized. Decisions have been based on personal opinion, personable, reasonable opinion, not constitutional muster. And here we are, not to mention that we don't enforce the Constitution, so our government does what it does. It indoctrinates the people. Then you wind up with fudds like these two right here. Look at him. He's high as hell right now, ain't he? Little Chad over here. Chad. I was just checking the guns out in the background. Is that a 338 Lapua right there? I think that's what that gun is. I think he said it was a 338.
That are presented to it. So the Supreme Court is the ultimate, deciding factor whether or not the laws of the land are constitutional or unconstitutional.
No, false. The people are. The people decide, because we are supposed to be the ones to enforce the Constitution. We have the last say. You have the last say. You can do anything that you want. You always have the last say. Don't let people tell you otherwise. Because when they do, they're lying to you. You always have the last choice. Even if it comes down to, you want to build a full auto in your basement and you want to go out and shoot it and show it on YouTube and shit. When they come to get you, you have the last choice. Even if it might not be the best choice. I mean, you're going to die, but you still have that choice. Man up and make it.
But like I said, when it comes to the NFA specifically, as what this video is about, will we ever see it repealed as a whole? And as I mentioned, likely not. Does it mean that we should stop pressing for that? Should we stop pressing for things like a renewed Hearing Protection Act, like we almost got passed through the House?
Yeah, we almost got to pass through the House. You remember when that great Republican conservative pro-Second Amendment patriot President Trump had the presidency of the Oval Office, the House and the Senate were both majority Republicans, and still nothing went through. So, it's not a pendulum. You have both sides of one party. They call themselves two different things, Democrat and Republican. The Republicans blame everything on the Democrats. The Democrats push everything through. When the Republicans had the majority, they do nothing. They blame it on the Democrats. When the Democrats push all this shit through, the Republicans still blame it on the Democrats. It's nothing but political theater. That's it. Just your time to make some moves. All you need is eighth inch bit. Yeah, like Stephen Crumley, you can buy all that shit. Like, listen, people here's what kills me about this. Not only can you buy the bit, you can buy a jig, you can buy all the parts, you can buy them all online right now and have it shipped to your house, but don't have the intent to make anything out of it. Like, do it for just the point to prove that you can buy all this shit. But then, you do have to have a specific lower. You can't just drill any lower. It has to be a low shelf receiver or M16 cut receiver. But I mean, there's no reason why you can't have a full auto. But they don't want you to have one because when they come to get you, they know with the full auto, it's a suppress. Full auto is great for suppressive fire. It doesn't have. I mean, I personally think it's great for home defense if it's home defense against government, because they're coming in 5 or 6 deep, back to back to back to back, touching each other's shoulders. It'd be great to have a full auto in that case, but that's why they don't want you having it, because when they come to get you, they don't want you to be able to fight them. Are you sure it's worth it? Is your bottom side really worth it? John Smith, yeah, 100%, dude. I think everybody knows where I stand. I'm pretty sure. Some people don't. Some people misunderstand where I stand, but I agree with that, Mad Max, but how do you start with scratch, bud? If there's very few of us who truly want to be free, truly want to enforce our Constitution, how do you start from scratch? You can't. I don't believe you can, man. I believe our best chance of anything peacefully, I believe our best chance, period, because even if it's not peaceful, let's say somebody kicks some shit off tomorrow and the whole country goes to war. Everybody's fighting everybody, right? And let's just say the quote-unquote patriots win, right? I still have a fight to fight because I'm against those dudes. Because what they believe brings us right back to where we are today. Maybe not in our lifetimes, Maybe not in our kids' lifetimes, but somewhere down the line, it brings us right back to where we are today. People are under this illusion that we can change. If we change things, we all must be happy and we all must live in shit. That's just not the case. 90% of the shit that I talk about, if it happened, I would die. My family would probably die. But it doesn't take away from the fact that if it was to happen, everybody who did survive would be free. Watch targets for 12 hours. Next time, hold down. You on watch for targets for 12 hours. And then I got the next. We could hold down for those who wish to join. Be on our part. Like that sounds like the Great Reset. What sounds like the Great Reset? Oh, well, yes and no. I mean, there's some crazy shit going on in the world today, but a lot of it, man, is I pointed at that video about Bjorn the other day. I don't know if you guys know who that dude is, but he is this dude from Norway that right here that claims to just want to be free. He just wants to be free. But then he also, in one of his videos, he took it down. He made it a subscriber only thing. You had to be a member to watch it because I called his ass out on a bunch of shit. Right here, it was this one. See if it'll play.
This channel.
Hold on. Let me find
Okay. It does matter a lot. If I put food on the table, I need to make money on what I'm doing. It would be irresponsible if those deals, and it wouldn't matter whether the platform is paying they want, because they're not making money on that. Ways that the politicians, they are pointing at the curves, it's all going up. Within the next 10 years,
trying to find
especially among preppers, prepper channels. And
I don't think it was this video. I think it was a different one. But anyway, and he says we shouldn't allow. They were talking about drug use. We shouldn't allow people to drink or do drugs because they make bad decisions. Well, they don't. Some people may, but they don't. And the bad decision has nothing to do with the drugs. It's the bad decision. So again, Bjorn's another one of these people. He's not from the U.S. He's from Norway, but he doesn't realize that the shit that he puts out, the shit that he talks about, that he's got a lot of viewers too. I think he's got 500,000 subs on one channel. I think he's got about 1 million subs altogether. He's a novelist, so he puts out a lot of information in books. People believe that shit because they look up to him. This dude right here
Hi, good morning.
is a doctor. If you don't know who he is, Sean Baker, MD. I'm going to leave a link. Go subscribe to him. He puts out a lot of good shit. He really does. He lost his medical license at one time because of some bullshit. Here's a link to him. But he puts out a lot of good stuff. Go check him out.
Happy Labor Day. I wanted to recount a kind of a humorous story here that I think you guys will appreciate. We have some of these sort of goofy mandates coming back in some places. So there's a little place.
But anyway, he's a medical doctor. He's an orthopedic surgeon, I think. He doesn't buy all the bullshit. I want to give him a thumbs up just because I've never heard him say anything too out of the way. He doesn't talk about a lot of rights and freedom stuff. But he does put out a lot of good information. I know that there's people like Bjorn right here that puts out a lot of good information, and he does. I am personally just to the point to where I have a line drawn, and you're either 100% pro-freedom or you're 100% enemy of freedom, and it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Like Bjorn here the other day, I was watching one of his videos, and allegedly he was shot at last August. So there was hunters in the woods, and he was shot at. He was complaining last night is when I watched this. Not this one, but a different video. He was saying, I was out in the woods yesterday, and the hunters were out there, blah, 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 and it's not even hunting season and all this shit. So I'd done a little bit of digging, and deer season, what they call it, roe deer season, started on August the 10th. So he doesn't know when the hunting thing is, but he wants to be able to go out into the woods and walk around, but he doesn't want other people to be able to go out into the woods and hunt. I don't see him wearing any kind of orange vest or anything. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen him wear a hunter's orange vest. But he's out in the woods all the time, and it's not his land, from what I gather. He doesn't own the land. He just is out walking around in his public land. So yeah, he has the right to walk around on it, sure. People also have the right to hunt it, especially if it's their land. But anyway, that's that was on the Bjorn Talks, I think is what it was, where he said that. Let me see. I'm just looking to see if that's where he said it at. Yeah, he said it right here. Said it right there. I wish I had filmed that video where he. This is the one. No, this is the one where he talks about the hunters.
We are, on a range where one is
So this was
not annoyed at.
So this was filmed on August 25th, and he was talking about the day before him running into hunters, and he said next time they are going to have to go to the dentist. I was like, you're not very bright, dude. It's not. I don't think I'd just be walking up and punching somebody in the mouth that just shot at me. If they shot at me, they probably didn't shoot at him. They probably just shot. He's just tripping. He don't like guns, from what I gather. He thinks that they have a place, but he gets to say what that place is, and it's based on what's reasonable, which is subjective, which is a bunch of bullshit, like always. But anyway, guys, y'all got any questions or anything before I jump off here? It's burning. Others burning. Like a made-up character to push propaganda. Hey, I mean, listen, like, I'm not that dude, Colossal, that's on the shit that, like, people believe what they believe. Why they believe it's something else. Do I believe that there are people out there just pushing shit because they're paid to push shit? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there is, but the chances of you or I seeing them is probably slim to none. What John Smith say? I know me. So come get some. Hey, I'm with you, John Smith. How about we do better than that? How about we all sell our shit and we go buy some land and create a community somewhere? That way, when they come to get you, they have to fight me too. That's the only way we're going to get through this, guys. I mean, on a long enough timeline, it may not be in our lives, it may not be in our kids' lives, but it probably will be. The only way we will survive is together. That is it. That's the only way. And it's not going to be from following, FUD number 1 and FUD number 2 right here. It's just not going to be.
Really don't matter. Okay? What matters is the way that the law and the Constitution kind of coalesce and the interpretation of those laws within the.
So check this out. A lot of people don't know this, and I'm sure all of you know this, so I'm still going to explain it in case somebody happens to catch this that has never watched me. We, the people of the United States, to ensure domestic tranquility provided for the common defense, right? So we, the people. Who is we, the people? Well, that is me. That is you. That is them. That is Joe Bob. Nowhere in this document did I give government authority over me. Nowhere in this document did you give a government authority over you. So this is our individual restrictions. We, the people, individual, collective. It's our individual restrictions in a collective document. So the government can't do things to you that it can't do to me. And vice versa. That's why we have to protect our liberty. That's why we have to protect our rights. And the only way to do that is to enforce this document. It's the only way we'll ever do that. You're talking about voluntarism, exactly, a community. Right, Roberto. I agree with community 100%, but not voluntarism as a social construct. It doesn't happen. It can't happen. Like I said, in your lifetime, this is why I told Lycan Rose in a conversation we had. If your goal is a volunteerist society, you've already failed, because in your lifetime, if that was to ever happen, you can call me King Freedom, because I will not be ruled over. And at that point, it becomes the person with the most money who hires the most force that wins. So yes, I'm with you on the volunteerism at the community level, not at the country level. Like I said, government's a necessary evil. It's unfortunate that it is. But the reason there are governments to begin with is because people do not play nicely together. Volunteerism only works if everybody volunteers. Guess what? A lot of people don't. A lot of people would rather take your shit. Yeah, they know. They're going to hell. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. If you support shit that oppresses other people, is there a special place in hell for you? There is. These two, they got a special place in hell right next to the cops that they support, right next to Amy Coney Barrett, right next to Justice Scalia,
And what we push,
right next to the Redcoats.
and when we push it, time is of the essence, and the situations and political environments are of the essence.
But like these people, there's 290. Let's see. Hold on, let's see.
Through the House.
I mean, like, look what some of these people say. Nobody still liked my comments. The amendment is generally understood as not applying to the police. The army is a dangerous instrument to play with. A standing army is one of the greatest mischiefs that can possibly happen. Standing armies are dangerous to liberty. None but an armed nation can dispense with a standing army. That's not a bad comment, but it doesn't go into detail as to say why standing armies are unconstitutional. You can repeal the NFA, take the NFA with it, ATF with it. So I'd like to comment in this one, and it's gone. Wait, hold on, maybe it's not. Yeah, it's gone. Your case needs to be more than bumper sticker comments after the tax stamp. I'd like to comment in this one. There's my comment in that one. So dude just hasn't replied because it's still. Well, it shows me it's still there. It doesn't mean it's still there. The tax stamp and inordinate wait time would easily fall in a court challenge nowadays. Yeah, because the courts are on the side of the people, right? That bullshit. But all these comments, dude, it's just fucking. About 85% of our problems that gun owners have with the government would disappear if the NFA were to disappear. No, not true at all. If I was a gun genie, that would be one of my 3 wishes. The ATF does not ever want the NFA case to go to the jury because of the jury nullification. See, like, this is a stupid dude that believes in jury nullification. Jury nullification does not exist today, legally. It cannot exist because of unanimous verdicts. Whether it be not guilty or guilty, it has to be unanimous. I mean, in states like Washington, if 9 out of 12 jurors find you guilty, you're guilty. So the only way jury nullification would work is if you are the lead jury, the jury foreman, and then you sway the jury. But that's something different. That's swaying a jury. That's not jury nullification. But just like that comment, man, like this dude right here, Colby, is just somebody that is repeating some shit that he heard and hasn't even really thought about it because he probably never had to deal with the system. So he really doesn't have a reason to think about it. But no, jury nullification does not work. See, and he doesn't even understand how the court system works. The ATF does not ever want an NFA case to go to a jury because of the jury nullification. They know that NFA is unconstitutional. Even if that was to happen, let's just pretend the jury nullification was a thing and it worked. Even if that happened, it would be one person that won a case that would have no bearing on the Supreme Court decisions. 0. Well, by the word of the Supreme Court's definition, that means we should be able to own the same automatic weapons just as the military does, which would mean that NFA is unconstitutional laws against the law-abiding citizens. Just like this. It's the spice. Which would mean that NFA is an unconstitutional law against law-abiding citizens, therefore negating all NFA laws. Like, the cognitive dissonance in that very comment. Like, these people don't actually understand what rights are. They don't even believe in rights. And, like, because of that, they support all this shit that is anti-freedom and anti-rights. I don't know, man. It's frustrating at best. But I don't want to jump off here, y'all. Yeah, you're right. You're right, David. If the government made breathing illegal, half the people would drop in 2 minutes. You're right. I don't disagree, Valley Echoes. Like, we have a couple of those people. The thing is coming up with a place where we all can move. There's an RN that we're all friends with, but she likes cold weather. She don't want to move to the warmer climates. And I don't disagree with her. We might be moving somewhere up north. We don't know where we're going to yet. We're going to have to really sit down and think about where we're going to plant our feet at when we do this move thing. So that's why we're going to take a few weeks, a couple weeks, 2 weeks, a month, and we're going to go to Columbus, Ohio, visit a friend up there. We're going to go to Minnesota, visit a friend up there. We're going to go to Wisconsin probably and see Lauren Michael. Oklahoma and see Liberty Williams. I'd like to go to Texas and see Dry Fire Faith. I want to go to Yosemite National Park, or not, Yellowstone Park. And I want to show my kids some things that they'll probably never get to see because the world's going to end. When do I get unbanned? Who are you talking about? All Faith. The courts would change proceedings, like with tax laws. Day freedom working on the fish tank. Listen in. Hey, thanks, Lunatic Rider, man. I appreciate you. Come to Texas. Yeah, we're probably going to come down to Texas, man. If we can get a hold of Dry Fire. It just depends. It depends how much time we have, man. Honestly, because I don't want to be just driving around spending money. So I'm going to have to work during this time. So I'm going to have to go to fab shops and try to catch some day labor or stuff or whatever at some fab shops, which I should be able to do. So it just depends. But yeah, we're thinking about coming to Texas. I thought about you. I'm trying to get a hold of Dry Fire Faith, man. I've been calling that dude for weeks now, texting him, can't get a answer from him. I think something happened to him. But anyway, guys, go back and watch this video. Here, I'll leave the link right here. Please be sure to tell them that they are the problem. Make them see what they can't see because nobody tells them, because everybody agrees with them because half the Appalachians is Virginia. Yeah, well, I was looking at West Virginia the other day, man. I seen 25 acres for $25,000. Now, it doesn't have any utilities, and that's a big thing, too. Is there utilities? Is there a road in? Paul's looking on it. You know, I'm wanting to buy. I'm not going to have the money to buy what I want, obviously, so we're going to build it up. So the first quest becomes buying the amount of land that I want to buy with the money that I have to buy it. So, with that, we're going to be knocking on some doors. That's what we're going to do. I got people in East Tennessee looking for land right now. I asked somebody in West Tennessee to keep an eye out. So that's the thing. The problem with West Tennessee is that my problem with it is that the forest out there, or it's a lot of like spruce pines and stuff like that. I don't know what kind of actual pines they are, but little pine trees. So there's not a lot of lumber. And after doing a bunch of research, with an investment of about $6,000, you can literally, if you have the acreage and the standing timber, I mean, you can now in Tennessee build your own home from logs that are milled on that property. So, you invest $6,000. If you can do all the work, you cut the logs and you mill them to the sizes you need. You can build your entire house. Of course, you have to. It's supposed to be a year drying time for every inch of thickness, but there's ways around that too. I mean, we could build a kiln and help dry. There's all kinds of things we could do, man. Next month, don't do background checks and run again. It's coming in the West. I'm probably not born to be a shooter, man. I don't know. It just depends where we're at, bud. To be honest with you, we'll be on the road by then. I'm getting ready to head to Tennessee here in about a week and a half and go get a truck. So I'm trying to get TLR Inc. to take a joyride with me. Raven Ray, stop banning me, you too. I don't see how y'all get banned. You must be saying some crazy shit, man. I say some shit that would be considered extreme, and they don't completely ban me. Yeah, I'm nervous, Faithful. I'm definitely nervous, just to say that. Close enough for me to get you a song. I'll go with you. Like, that'd be the thing to do, Valley Echoes. You know what I mean? It really would, especially if you had the land. But I mean, in order to have that amount of land, how much acreage are you talking? You know what I mean? I mean, if you had 50 acres in the mountains, the way acreage is done from a like an overview. So 50 acres in the mountains is more square feet of land than 50 acres in the plains. Does that make sense? Because of the hills. So if you get 50 acres in the mountain with a little valley where you can garden or have pastures or whatever, it's possible to do that. But you got to have the standing timber in order to do it. You can't get down with the humidity in the South. There's not much humidity, man. Like the Midwest has the most humidity, I think. Like Ohio, Missouri, Illinois, they're humid ass states. Ohio is, especially Southwest Ohio. Um, Tennessee ain't that bad. But I mean, Arkansas, which goes, that's still what we do, man. You know, hopefully I run into somebody that sees my vision and is willing to, you know, chance working with me. You know, I'd like to buy 100 acres of land, dude. I really would. I would love to have 100 acres of land. I'd love to have 50 acres. But when it comes to like that, milling your own timber and shit, the timber has to be there for you to mill. And then you have to have time for it to, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I have to figure out how to store all of our stuff. I'm trying to find out the best way to store our stuff. Do I go spend $140 a month on a storage unit? I could throw it all in my brother's pole barn, but it's got a gravel floor. There's, you know, rats and shit back there that get into stuff. Or do I spend, you know, $2,500 on the Connex container, load it once, and then just move the whole damn container wherever we go? I mean, I've been looking at everything. PHFO 101 found a tractor for me, a big John Deere tractor with a front loader and a bush hog for, I think he said $2,000. It's a buddy of his. It's a old diesel tractor, but you know, something like that would be needed, or it would at least make work a lot easier. I mean, we got a lot of work ahead of us, man. I've been sitting around for 2 years, and I'm going to go straight into this. What I'm probably going to do actually is when we hit the road, I'm probably going to start getting into a gym regiment. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a Connex container, angry fishing, the 8x20 Connex. But then if I'm spending $2,500 on the 8x20, why not spend $3,300 on the 8x40? But then you have the problem of hauling it, which wouldn't be that much of a problem, I guess. I'd figure it out. Don't forget what we are in September, so we prepare to see more crap. Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting to see what happens on September the 11th. Why don't he? He had a wrench at one time. Where is he? I don't know why he don't have one, to be honest with you. He had one. I was supposed to take somebody off the other day, and I forgot. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Chris Harris, man? How you doing? Dude, I never found that address, man. I've looked everywhere. I've called probably 10 facilities down there. I can't get anybody down there to even tell me where they house federal inmates at in the Jacksonville area. And people, they dudes have no clue what's going on. I need that address bad so I can write him a letter. I want to buy some blue spray paint and paint my name. I gave you a wrench, man. I just gave it to you. Hey, Chrissy, put that link in there for the whatever chat thing it is. The Streamlabs thing. I don't know if it works on this or not. Regardless, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support us, that's how you can do it. I'd appreciate it. I'm about to the point where we're probably going to need some support. I hope not, but maybe. Yeah, he isn't listening. Yeah, it's some weird shit, Chris. Like, how do I send him that letter? His Chris is with a K, though. So I don't know if that matters or not. Alright, y'all. I'm going to jump on. What's up, Red Reaper? Go back and watch this one, Red Reaper. You can make a video on it later, too. You'll like it. Call his lawyer. I'll try, but I doubt that'll give me information. I'll try. Try some Connex gun away. Yeah, it has, man. I've been looking for a used Connex. I got a buddy that might have one. I need to find out. Texas, there's a statute of Texas allowed to buy guns or ammo. I need a signal boost to let Texas. If there's a state of emergency in Texas, you're not allowed to buy guns and ammo. Yeah, because that's not infringing on your rights. Thanks, Lee Recheck. People I watch here, I bought 70 acres down in Florida for. People I watch on here, they bought 70 acres down in Florida for $225,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. That's a ton of money. There's land out there, man. You just have to find it, and people work with you. Like I couldn't afford that. I would love to have 100 acres. I won't be able to afford it anytime soon, so I'm gonna try to buy some land and then buy some land later. What's up, Kex 250 Monster? What are you going to say about 9/11? Oh, nothing. I was just, I'm curious to see if anything will happen. There's land everywhere, man. Like here's all you got to do. There's a bunch of things. I want to actually. Breathing the Sunshine knows or a bunch of websites where they sell land, but you can do things just like put land for sale by owner Tennessee. Like these are all lands for sale by owner Tennessee. Some of them are actually decent. I was looking last night. Let me try to find this one real quick. I found 7 acres for $25,000 right where 7.5 acres right where we were talking about moving to Tennessee. It's right across the interstate in Holiday. And they wanted $20,000 for it. I'm sure they'd take, you walk up with $201 bills and people act a little different. Like, I would love to have a real homestead where we can even build our own house from the land. You know what I mean? You can't do that with 10 acres. There's just not enough standing timber to be able to do that. So that's why I would love to. I wish people would go in. Let's go in and buy 100 acres somewhere. I seen 100 acres the other day for $223,000. I mean, you start talking cash prices, man, and people come down on that, especially if it's been on the market for any amount of time. And a lot of land has been because they're asking so much for it now. Right here, here's one. Here's a 4.82 acres in Benton County. That's where we were thinking about moving. And this land, I actually looked at this, and this land didn't look that bad. Old Benton County. See, but this has already been logged right here. And see, that wouldn't do me any good. Now this would. If this is the land right here, the problem is you see all these pines right here, and I bet that's the land where them pines are at. I guarantee that's it. But you have all these standing oak trees and shit around it. Yeah, see all these pines. I mean, that's a lot of standing timber. I mean, wood you buy at Home Depot is made out of pine, so I'm sure it'd be fine. I just don't like pine forests. Like, see that? It's all been logged. All been clear cut, man. So that's not for me. And plus, it's 4 acres. I mean, how far does 4 acres really go? You know what I mean? I mean, I know that it can go pretty far, but for what I'm wanting to do, I got to find 50. That's my goal is 50, to find at least 50. That is my goal. It's going to be hard with the amount of money I'm going to have, but we're going to make it happen somehow. So if I don't give a shit if I got to raise money and pay people back, that's what we're going to do. Huh? No, the camera's on. My baby don't want to be seen. I'm sitting here.
You do either.
Why? I'm sitting here in my underwear, my shirt off. Sitting here naked. There's 66 acres for 120 grand. Morgan County, Tennessee. Yes, I mean, like, you can find stuff, man. You just got to look for it, and then this ain't anything with a realtor you don't want to mess with. That's why we're going to go knocking on doors, because we'll get a much better price knocking on doors. Find some land that's ran down. It's got a bunch of garbage on it, an old house fallen, needs a bunch of work. That's the land I want to buy. So if you guys know where any land like that's at, let me know. That's the kind of land I want. Ran down. I want years of garbage piled up on it. A house that's fallen down. I want the neighborhood party spot for the kids. That's what I want to buy, because I'll be able to get it at a price that 7 acres or $400 per month. That's insane. It's petty cash. But anyway, you can find like there's a bunch of them, like owner financing for land. A lot of these are expensive though. These owner financing things. There's 6,200 acres for $8.5 million. Let's go in on that shit. We'll create our own damn country. Who in the hell owns 6,500 acres? Hardin County, Tennessee. Man, it must be nice. Here's 12 acres in Jackson for 44. That might not be a bad deal. Oh, it's looks like cornfield. I don't want a cornfield. I need woods and shit, man. Where's it at? I don't see the markets for it. Oh, there it is. And it's a weird 10 acres too. Like a triangle. And it's got all this business shit next to it. No, I'm cool. Don't want that. There's a lot of stuff. You just gotta look for it. Right here. What's going on this? 430 acres, $2 million. We can do it, man. I'm telling you, we could. We just gotta put our minds to it and do it. We can do anything we put our minds to. So, I think I'm going to do that, though. I know it sounds stupid, and I don't really want to rely on other people. But I think I want to start a Build Freedom Land Fund or some shit. And then everybody that donates can come to it once it's built. Nah, I talk shit. I would never do it, though. Does this have... No. So check this out. Your property is just around this corner. So they put a picture there to make you think that 4/10 of an acre. Gatlinburg. Who the hell would want... Have you guys ever been up to where all these chalets are at in Gatlinburg? You can't do shit with that land. It's so steep. Vacation there. That's about it. But anyway, there's land. You just got to look for it. And like I said, I think our best bet is going out and knocking on doors. I think that's how we're going to win to get what we want. Here's Hawkins County, Tennessee, $40,000 for 8.5 acres. But the more land you buy, the cheaper you can get it. Like I said, I see 100-acre plots all the time for $200,000. I don't have $200,000, but if 2 people went in on it, 3 people went in on it, even if it wasn't evenly, we can make it happen. I take 50, you take, if you want 30, 2 people want 25, whatever it may be, or 40, 2 30s, or 30 and a 40 and a 30, whatever, however it is, we can make it happen, man. We just got to do it. We got to get together and get serious about it. I mean, I've been talking about doing this for 2 years, and we're the only people that's followed through selling our place. And I know that it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people got a lot of stuff that.
Wait, no, Faith's doing it. Who else just sold a house?
But is she planning on finding a place with us or what?
I don't know. This I need in here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so
6 acres, 19 acres. See, like these are just crazy prices, but they're all with realtors. Right here, 116 acres, $219,000. Tell me that ain't sweet as hell. Look at that. Jesus, that'd be awesome. Look, the big old flat back here. All these woods.
gorgeous.
Tell me that wouldn't be awesome, man. That is freaking awesome. I wonder how the access to it is, though. Because if you buy land that's landlocked, make sure you always look at your right-of-ways when you look at land. That is important, which it looks like it's got a good right-of-way out here in the front, I'm sure. It's a town out there. Is that a town? That is awesome. That's freaking beautiful. 30 minutes outside of Knoxville. That's what I want right there. 30 minutes outside of Knoxville.
What the hell is that?
I want to see the pictures of it, though. It said there was pictures.
Okay.
Let's see what it says. Motivated seller. There you go. Make me an offer. Need to sell ASAP. Here's your opportunity to own 100 acres of unrestricted land just a short drive outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. This one features off-train and they could fly perfect home cabin. Year-round creek and mountain views. You wouldn't want to miss out on this beautiful, rarely available property. Unrestricted land, absolutely no HOA. This is pristine forest, tall pines, clear air, pure water, and year-round springs. The perfect place to hunt, fish, kick back, and relax. There are different water sources on the property. The north side of the property has a small seasonal stream with a few branches. The water sources in the middle of the property are seasonal flows quite nicely when there is weather. You won't have to drill very far down to get pristine water forever. Approximately 100 feet on the south side of the property, there is your year-round creek. The possibilities of the property, what to harvest lumber. Damn, see, like, you can buy this property and do selective foresting, selective harvesting, and probably make, 100 acres. You could probably make $50,000 just in lumber, just doing selective, and you're not even taking everything down. That would leave plenty to, and you put that toward the price. I need to call this dude, 219. Man, I need to get a hold of this guy. Contact the owner. I want to jump off here, guys. I want to get on this. I want to contact this dude. But you all stay straight. Have a good day. And keep your heads up, y'all. We're going to get it done. Y'all need to get it done with us. Let's do it. See ya.